Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. Let's get started with the big boys. Zhang going toe-to-toe against Joyce. And it looks like the pundits suggest that Joyce's career might be over if Zhang beats him. Anyway, let's read this story by Jake Tiernan, at least the highlights. He's writing for BoxingNews24.com. WBO heavyweight interim champ Zhang could finish the once promising career of 2016 Olympic silver medalist Joyce this Saturday night on September 23rd in their rematch at Wembley Arena in London. Joyce is stubbornly taking the rematch because he wants to recapture the WBO interim title so that he can challenge IBF, WBA, WBO heavyweight champion Oleksandr Usyk next year. Holding the WBO interim is the golden ticket for Joyce or Zhang to fight for that title. The big southpaw two-time Chinese Olympian Zhang, 25-1-1, by the way, 20 knockouts, stopped Joyce in the sixth round in their previous fight on April 1st at the Copper Box Arena in London. The contest was halted due to the 6'6" juggernaut Joyce's right eye closing shut in the sixth round from the hard impacts by Zhang's sniper-like left hands. Those were lead lefts that Zhang was tagging the slow as molasses Joyce with, and he lacked the defenses and reaction time to get out the way of the shots. Zhang already let the boxing public know he's going to target Joyce's eye to close it up once again to force another stoppage. And if Joyce can't block those shots from Zhang, it could be an early night. So wait to see what happens. It was all recapped, by the way, for you boxing fans, by Neil the Deal on his show, Boxing 101. Check it out on talkinfight.com. Sandy Ryan has told Jesse McCaskill to keep the belts warm as they meet in a welterweight unification clash this upcoming Saturday night, September 23rd at the Caribe Royale in Orlando, Florida. And that's going to be shown live worldwide on DAZN. Ryan, who's 6-1 with 2 knockouts, landed the vacant WBO title in her last fight, seeing off Canadian Marie-Pierre in Cardiff in April. And in her first defense, she travels to Florida to face WBC and IBO and Ring Magazine as well champion Jessica McCaskill, 12-3 with 5 knockouts. The Chicagoan, who is fighting for her 10th consecutive world title bout, by the way. Ryan, who turned 30 on Saturday, believes she's heading down the path of her own lengthy run for world title action, starting in Orlando and leading to an undisputed fight next, then showdowns with other big-name champions in the sport. Obviously a massive fight for her. Anyway, Jim Kalfa writes in BoxingNews24.com, junior middleweight contender Erickson the Hammer Lubin says he's ready to make a statement against unbeaten Jesus Ramos in their 12-round co-feature spot on the September 30th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. With Jermell Charlo potentially not returning to 154-pound division after his fight with Canelo Alvarez in the main event, Lubin would be in a position to fight for one of those belts once they're fragmented. Getting a fight with Terence Crawford, for example, would be ideal. Ramos is the favorite for good reason. This guy is unbeatable right now, and he might be the best fighter in the 154-pound division. If Jermell returns to the division, he could be in for a lot of trouble if he faces Ramos. If Lubin loses to Ramos, it's going to be difficult for him to come back from defeat. He's already been stopped twice, and getting beaten again would be a blow to his career. Lubin, he's 25-2, 18 knockouts, says he's matured since losing to Sebastian Fundora by a 9th-round stoppage defeat last April, and he wants to prove that against the unbeaten 22-year-old Ramos, who's 20-0, 16 knockouts. Elsewhere in the women's world, Terri Harper will clash with former world pound-for-pound number 1 Cecilia Braekhus for the WB and WBO Super-Welterweight world titles on the undercard of Leigh Wood's WBA Featherweight world title defense against Josh Warrington, taking place at Utilita Arena in Sheffield. That's taking place on Saturday, October 7th. The pair were originally slated to square off for Harper's WBA crown in the historic Katie Taylor versus Chantel Cameron show back at the 3 Arena in Dublin earlier this year, but Braekhus was forced to withdraw from the fight on the morning of the event due to an illness. Former WBC and IBO Super Featherweight world champ Harper, 13-1-1 by the way, won the WBA 154-pound world title by widely outpointing Scotland's Hannah Rankin at the Motor Point Arena in Nottingham in September last year. Her first fight up at Super Welterweight, by the way. Norway's Braekhus, she's got a 37-2 record. Former undisputed ruler at 147 pounds, is attempting to become a two-division world champion. First Lady, a modern pioneer of women's boxing, held the WBC and WBA titles at the welterweight division from 2009 to 2020, also picking up the WBO title in 2010 and the IBF title in 2014. Braekhus, by the way, lost the title by majority decision to Justin McCaskill, mentioned earlier, back in August 2020 in downtown Tulsa, USA, and lost again to Cecilia in a rematch at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, March 2021. McCaskill is the only fighter to have beaten Braekhus as a professional. Let's move along to Don King, shall we? Yes, Don King, 92 years of age, still promoting. His next fight's coming up November 4th in Miami, and will be a very interesting fight, quite frankly, on the card. A very possibly heavyweight, explosive heavyweight encounter between Jonathan Guidry, 19-1, and 2 draws, 11 knockouts, and unbeaten Puerto Rican slugger Jesus Escalera, 18-0, 18 knockouts. Wow. So that could be incredibly, as they say, explosive knockout, as written by James Slater of boxing24.com. Top of the bill will be Adrian Broner's latest fight, yet the heavyweights may well steal the show. We've also got Trevor Bryan facing Cassius Chaney on the card, and shrimp fisherman turned world-class fighter Guidry is looking to score a big win that will lead him to another even bigger fight. So Don King still at it and doing well, and let's look forward to that fight and the results from Miami, as I said, taking place on November 4th. Here we've got a story out of badlefthook.com. Shakur Stevenson talking about the recent bad news that his fight with Frank Martin won't be happening after all, and his inability to get other big names to fight him, including Vasily Lomachenko and Devin Haney. He said, I think Frank Martin got cold feet. I think that before the fight was signed, it sounded good. Everything sounded good. But once the fight came to fruition, I feel like he got real nervous and didn't want to fight no more. But his excuses and his reasoning will tell you that it wasn't enough money. But truthfully speaking, it was quadruple more than he's ever made in his entire career. And that's a fact. The numbers he made in his career was the highest, $250,000. That fight that he would have just fought, he would have fought for a world title, and he would have fought for $1 million or so. Wow. I don't think fighters want to lose. I think deep down inside, he knows that I'm one of the best fighters in boxing. And like I said, I don't think he wanted to lose when he came down. But if he's going to take an L, he wanted to make 10 times more than he ever made in his career. I guess 4 times is not enough. Wow. So should Stevenson have accepted less money to make the fight? The problem with that, what he said was, you shouldn't speak on nobody else's situation if you don't know the details. So when he went and said stuff about me and not knowing my situation, not knowing the details, what happened in the situation, it just turned around and slapped him in the face. Plus my situation, his situation were 2 different situations. I'm a fighter. I love boxing. I love to fight. I would never turn down a quadruple more than I would have made for a world title shot. Would never do that. So Shakur Stevenson's obviously a little frustrated with how he was treated by Frank Martin, and looks forward, obviously, to fighting some big names in the near future. And so we look forward to seeing him fight again. Anyway, let's round up today's episode with a little story on Danny Garcia and his absolutely juicy quote related to possibly fighting Terence Crawford. He goes, "I'm rich, bro. I don't need to fight you." And there you have it, fight fans. Thanks for joining me once again here on Talkin Fight. Appreciate it very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We'll see you later on at 4 p.m. when I join Mike Orr for his show, Knuckle Up.